Hello again. So now we are on to part two from the previous argument. If you recall from the previous video, we were evaluating the amicus curiae from Clark Locke LLP, a defamation law firm, and they are acting as friends of the court. It's an amicus brief. So they're not siding with anyone, they're not on anyone's side. They are literally just, they've been evaluating the case, probably watching the case from a side. And I want to use this opportunity to make a point, yeah? As I mentioned in my previous video, and I cannot stress enough how important this case is. This is legal precedent on evaluating when online commentators can be judged as media defendants who follow journalistic ethics, or where they are just online commentators or bloggers like myself who are just commenting. Now, many people will be wondering, oh, well, this is going to mess up things, my free speech. Not really. Free speech protects you from the government. It doesn't protect you from consequences. You are free to say whatever you want. But then again, by the very nature of American free speech law, people are also free to respond to your speech. Yeah? And I think a lot of commentators, because they are engaging and they are chasing clickbait, because let's keep it 500%, anybody who's been on the internet for the past almost 5 to 10 years, rage bait gets clicks. Many of you need to start asking yourself whether it's worth it. And that is what cases like these determine for people. Is it worth 1 million views where you could make a little bit of ad revenue, maybe in the tens of thousands, but then lose that money and more if the comments that you're making affects a real person who has the time and the resources to come after you? Free speech comes at a price. And I am actually quite pleased that we have reached a point where the law, it is now time for the law to step in and say when some of us might be going a bit too far. Regulation is good as long as it doesn't stifle creativity. And I think a lot of people are intentionally conflating creativity for accountability. You literally cannot just say what you like. There will be consequences. If you cannot face the consequences, then measure your speech. If you want to be seen as a journalist, then understand the legal definition of a journalist. Like I said in another video, we will talk about the case, the Meghan versus Milagro verdict, and the legal question. But let's continue. So continuing on from the previous video, guys, as mentioned, I've made my notes on my laptop. I don't have a proper setup yet, so my laptop is on my lap. So if you see me looking down, I'm going through my notes, so please bear with me. I did not disclaim previously, but I will disclaim now. I am not a lawyer. I am not a judge. I don't have any legal training whatsoever. I do have a brain. I can read, and I did quite a lot of investigation on this, so I've been able to put my notes together. So let me disclaim very strongly, I am not a lawyer, but I like to make complex cases or even topics as simple as possible for the audience. So if you enjoy that type of content, please continue to like, subscribe, share, and come with me on this journey. Let's get on with part two. So let's talk about, from the previous video, this particular video, what we are going to be discussing, what the judge can do next. The amicus brief has been filed. What comes next? Now, I want to clarify again, at this stage, nothing is being tried. That's very important. No witnesses are coming back. No jury is being recalled. What's happening now is quieter, but very, very important. The judge is deciding whether the law was applied correctly after the jury finished its work. Where the case is right now, the trial has already happened, as we've said. The jury has already made factual findings, right? Now the case is in what is called a post-trial phase. That means the judge still has control over the judgment and can review legal errors, resolve inconsistencies, and amend the final ruling if necessary. This is normal court procedure. No, it is not Rock Nation. I don't know why people are saying this. Rock Nation is not God. They are not end all be all. So everybody needs to calm down. This is normal court proceedings. And I have already made it clear. The jury makes factual findings. The judge decides the law. Always bear that in mind. What the judge is not doing. The judge is not deciding who to believe. The judge is not retrying the case. The judge is not ignoring the jury. The jury's job was to decide facts. The judge's job now is to decide whether those facts were matched to the correct legal rules. The core question before the judge. The central legal question is very simple. Based on what the jury found, does the defendant legally qualify as a media defendant under Florida law? This is important. Why? Because Florida retraction statute only applies if the defendant is a media defendant acting in a journalistic role. That classification is ultimately a legal determination, not a popularity vote. So bear that in mind, commentators. Why the judge can step in. Judges are allowed to step in after trial when a verdict contains inconsistent answers. I think we can agree that this verdict did. On one hand, they said Milagro, they confirmed Milagro did defame Meghan, but in the media defendant questions, they seem to be straddling the fence on what exactly a media defendant is. Yeah? And more importantly, this is where the judge can step in. When a legal standard may have been misapplied. Here, the jury found that the defendant did not act neutrally, did not disseminate information impartially, and acted primarily for personal and commercial interests. As mentioned in my in the videos I post next, we will go through the findings and we will walk through what exactly a media defendant is according to Florida law, and why the defendant Milagro does not meet the qualification. Those findings raise a legal issue about whether the retraction statute should apply at all. This is what the judge is reviewing. Now, let's discuss the judge's main options. The judge has a few clear options. Option 1, the judge can reinstate the defamation verdict without applying the retraction statute. That would mean the jury's findings stand, but the legal classification is corrected. Option 2, the judge can amend the final judgment as a matter of law. That means the judge keeps the jury's factual findings, but adjusts the outcome to align to Florida law. Option 3, the judge can deny the post-trial motions and let the judgment stand as written. If that happens, this issue will likely go to appeal. All of these are lawful options, guys. Why this isn't overruling the jury? This part is often misunderstood, and I did some research on this. Correcting a legal classification is not overruling the jury. It's the court saying we accept what the jury has found, but the law requires a different legal result. Courts do this routinely. It's nothing new. It is not Rock Nation. It is not because the judge is impartial. It's just a routine thing. If that's it's part of the checks and balances between the juries and the judges. Why this matters beyond the case. This decision affects more than Meghan or even Milagro. It affects how influencers are treated under defamation law, whether monetized commentary gets the same protections as journalism, and how courts respond to viral misinformation going forward. This is why outside legal voices stepped in. Do you guys get it now? Do you get why this is important? Why this is very important? Good. So here is a simple wrap up of the whole thing, I guess. In simple terms, the jury answered factual questions. Don't forget we said that the jury deals with facts, the judge decides the law. The judge must now decide whether those answers legally qualify the defendant as a media defendant. That decision is still on the table. But I'm going to do something right at the end. So yeah, now that we've come to the end, and I know what everybody is itching to know. What are Meghan's chances? Look, based on the research I've done, Meghan has a credible shot. She has a credible shot, guys. Her position is strong because this is a legal issue. It's not emotional. Whether you hate Meghan, whether you love Meghan, it doesn't really matter. At this stage, this court is not weighing sympathy or popularity. The question is, did the law get applied correctly after the jury finished its job? Judges are much more willing to step in on legal classification instead of overruling the jury, and that is not what he's doing or she is doing. And this is why it could work in Meghan's favor. The jury's answers don't clearly fit the law, and that's fair because, again, and we spoke about this, guys, the jury found the defendant to not be neutral, to not be disinterested, and she was not acting like a journalist, yet the retraction statute was applied. Florida law ties media defendant status to function, not platform. New media heads, are you hearing? This mismatch gives the judge a legitimate basis to correct the outcome without overruling the jury. Pay attention. Also, that amicus brief is a pretty big signal, guys, for a top defamation firm to step in. It just goes to show how serious this is. And what I love about it is it's a defamation firm who has experience in this area stepping in to support Meghan. And what they are saying is, look, we are concerned about precedent. We are concerned about over-expanding protections. Exactly. A media defendant meets very strict rules. Either Milagro is a media defendant or not, and the jury has ruled on 3 out of the 5 or 6 or 7 questions. They don't see her as a media defendant. So how can she get the protection of a journalist? It makes no sense. And the concern is that this ruling will affect future cases. That's a very legitimate concern, because replace Milagro with any other troll on the internet. Judges don't have to agree with the amici, but they pay attention when the issue is structural. This can help Meghan. Judges are more comfortable fixing law than facts. This is very important. The court can say, I accept everything the jury has said, but the statute does not apply as a matter of law. That is a clean judicial move, and courts do it regularly. This is not asking the judge to pick a side. It is asking the judge to align the verdict with settled legal standards. Now that we've spoken about what works for her, let's see what works against her. This is what works against Meghan. Courts are very cautious post-trial because of this type of reaction. Judges are very careful about altering verdicts after trial. If the judge believes the issue could be resolved on appeal, they may let the judgment stand and allow higher courts to decide. This is a real possibility, guys. Jury involvement complicates things, yes. Even though classification is a legal question, the jury was asked to answer it. Some judges prefer not to disturb verdicts once jurors have spoken. And even if the result is imperfect, that restraint could limit intervention. So on an honest overall balance scale, the factors in Meghan's favor: legal inconsistency on the verdict, strong statutory history, amicus support, judge still has jurisdiction. Factors limiting certainty, post-trial caution, deference to jury involvement, and appellate fallback option. So I would say, again, I plug this into AI, and AI is telling me a fair assessment would be better than an average chance, not automatic, much stronger than a speculative appeal. This is a serious, credible attempt to correct a legal issue, not a Hail Mary. I love that it said that. So yeah, I guess the best way to summarize this whole thing is this isn't guaranteed, but Meghan's legal position is strong enough that the court could reasonably rule in her favor. So let's see how it goes. I look forward to seeing what the courts come up with. While we wait for their response, I will go back and look at the filings. I know a lot of people are not sure and they're not clear how it's possible that we got here, but I will go through it again, post it up in the playlist. And yeah, please let me know your thoughts. Please continue to like, subscribe, and share if you like my content. I really want to hear from you, so please comment and help me get to 1,000, guys. I need 1,000 followers or subscribers so that we can have lives and be interactive and discuss this some more. Thank you for all your support. Take care.